I don't see how you say it was a success. He said his goal was to make it to the majors. He did not make it to the majors. So in that aspect, it was a failure. Skip, and plus, the thing is that, did he have fun? A lot of times people are like, well, he's having fun, so you can't be a failure if you... He didn't say his job was he didn't want to have fun. He said, I want to make it to the majors. It was a tall task. Skip, I believe Tim Tebow could have been a Major League Baseball player had he devoted the time to baseball like he devoted to football. But
that's a fair statement.
Skip, yeah. That's a tall task to ask. We were talking about this, Skip, the other day about LeBron. Because LeBron, Skip, I'm not saying LeBron couldn't have made it to the NFL. If he'd have devoted the time to football like he's devoted to basketball, I believe he could have. My pushback came, he's going to be away from the game for 10 years, and all of a sudden say, you know what, I'm just going to go out here with no training. So basically, he's going to go out there just cold and make it. And that's what Tim Tebow was trying to do, Skip. The guy has been away from the game. Now, they told me, everybody keeps telling me, Shannon, the hardest thing to do in professional sport is to hit a baseball. So you mean to tell me the hardest...
Do you not agree?
No, I'm just, Skip, yeah. I'm going to be 1,000 with you. I've never tried to hit one because I already know my temper. You hit me, I hit a home run. You hit me, then I'm going to be mad at you and I'm going to have to do something bad to you. So I just ran track, didn't have to worry about that, Skip. So for me, if the hardest thing to do is to hit a baseball, you mean to tell me a man that hasn't played that sport in a decade can come off the streets? So then I was going to say, everybody that ever told me that baseball is the hardest sport is a lie. Because there ain't no way a man should be able to walk off the street and do the hardest thing there is to do in professional sports. So for me, Skip, I mean, and the Mets did everything they could, Skip. They tried to keep him afloat. Skip, he hit 163 in AAA. He had 223 average in the minor league for his career. Batted 151 in 4 spring trainings in major league competition. Skip, how many guys going to get an opportunity? You hit 151 in 4 spring trainings, they're going to keep inviting you back? You know he got opportunities because he was Tim Tebow. But even that, at the end of the day, that's the thing I love about sports. Because sports don't care anything about your name. The cameras don't care anything. Can you do the job? Can you catch? Can you shoot it? Can you drop your hips? Can you defend? Can you hit the baseball? And he couldn't do it with enough success. Because think about it, Skip, all you got to do is be successful 3 out of 10 times. Hell, if I catch 3 out of 10 passes, I'm going to be up out the league. If I make 3 out of 10 shots, I'm going to be up out of the league, unless they threes. So, no, Skip, it was a failure. It was a failure. It was a failure. There's no other way around it because his goal was not to go to AAA. It was not to go to win a league ball. His goal was to be, when they start, late March, early April, and when they trot out there to Shea Stadium, whatever, the Met Stadium or whatever it is now, Skip, he wanted to be able to run out there on the field, and that's not going to happen now.
By the way, I do believe hitting a baseball is the hardest thing to do in all sports, and I was a pretty good high school baseball player and a pretty good hitter, and I made all-region after my senior year, and I was pretty good, but I hit like 350 or whatever it was my senior year, and that was like a huge achievement for me because it is hard. It does not get any easier. You feel overmatched more than half the time.
Do you believe, okay, you played high school ball. Do you believe you could have took 10 years off so it come back at 27 and make it to the majors?
No, because they asked me to come out my freshman year at Vanderbilt because I was on full scholarship, and I walked over and watched them the first day, and I said, there's no way. Like, I'd be worried that school was going to be hard enough just to stay in class at Vanderbilt. Anyway, but the point is, you're right. Tim actually took 11 years between, because remember, he played his junior year of high school, and by all accounts, he was pretty good. He made all conference or whatever. I don't think he made all state, but his junior year, he's pretty good. Maybe he did make all state, but he had a future in baseball to play college baseball. And then he stopped because he concentrated on football only his senior year. And then he waited until he was 28 years of age to try it again. Why did he try it? I don't know Tim that well, but we were about to start Undisputed that sort of summer of 2016. So he had a showcase out here in Los Angeles at USC, and I think it's called Dedeaux Field, Rod Dedeaux Field. Beautiful place, and it was just him and 40 scouts, however many. And I went, Joy Taylor went, we just went, and a lot of media people went to watch him demonstrate his skills at age 28. What could he do? He ran a 40, he did this and that. Okay, so the point was I caught him afterward and talked to him about it. And he was pretty sad about it. And his point to me was, I had my football dream yanked out from under me because I thought I was pretty good. I'm paraphrasing what he said, but this was his message to me. I thought I was pretty good. And I thought I had a pretty good run in Denver, and then I never really got a shot to win a starting job thereafter.
Right.
And I agree. I don't know exactly what happened, but as we all remember, 2011, John Elway and John Fox took over after he was drafted by Josh McDaniels the year before. Josh got fired even before the year was finished, as you know better than anybody. And Tim had a nice finish to that rookie year because he had 3 big games at the end of it for a bad team.
Right. Because he ended up throwing for 300 yards, I think, the last game against the Houston Texans.
He did. And he brought them back from behind at halftime to pull it. He had a last-ditch drive to win the game. So you could see the potential. But Elway and Fox wanted to go a different direction. He wasn't their cup of tea. I got it. And they started with Kyle Orton for the first 5 games, and they fell to 1-4. And they had a game at Miami, and they said, okay, let's just throw him into the fire and get this over with. Because if he stinks it up, then we can go on and say we tried. And you know the rest of the story. They won in overtime at Miami, and they were off to the races. And they won the division, and they beat Ben Roethlisberger in overtime in the first playoff game.
Fastest overtime in NFL history.
It was. Can we see that just for a minute? Well, that's the last time. He's out. He's done. This is it. One throw to Demaryius Thomas, boom, on the money. That looked pretty good to me. That looks like he could throw a little bit.
Come on, Ike Taylor.
Come on, Ike. No!
DT tossed him.
At that moment, I am rolling on the floor of my apartment in New York City saying, I can't believe it. There was a moment like, wait, is it over? Yeah, it's over.
Yes.
It's over.
It's over.
They just beat Big Ben Roethlisberger. And on they went to New England, and they got their clocks cleaned by the Patriots and Tom Brady in a Saturday night game, I believe it was in New England. Okay, so the point was, he's on the phone because they got Peyton Manning knocked on the door. John, can I play? Yeah, we'll take you. And do I have any issue with that? No. Peyton over Tim Tebow. Yeah, I think I'd go with Peyton Manning, but I thought he had a lot left, and a lot of people thought he was washed up.
Right.
So we know the rest of that story because he should have won the next 2 MVPs. He won one. Adrian Peterson sort of stole one, I thought, but it's good for him. So way to go. But the point was, Tebow then is a free agent, and Rex Ryan, he told me, called him on the phone and said, hey, come to the Jets, and I will give you a 50-50 shot at winning the starting job. And he never got that shot. He didn't do much of anything for the Jets. He didn't get a chance to play quarterback.
Well, Skip, the Jacksonville, as it was told to me, he had 2 options, the Jags, which is his hometown team, and the Jets. And the Jags wanted Tim Tebow. He didn't want to go to the Jags. He wanted to go to the Jets. Now, maybe like you said, Rex had promised him an opportunity for the starting job.
It was New York. It was the bright lights, and he thought he was going to get a real shot. I guess Sanchez was the starter.
Sanchez was.
And it didn't happen.
I believe he'd have got a better chance.
Okay, you well could be right, and it's Jacksonville. It's where he's from. Okay, I got it. I also think the St. Louis Rams and Jeff Fisher were in that derby somehow, but whatever. And then he had the brief fling in Philadelphia and even a briefer one in New England, and he's out. And he never got to start or even try to start another game in pro football. And it hurt him bad because that's his dream.
I think the thing, Skip, I think the thing is he at least got afforded the opportunity in Denver because the Broncos did draft him #1. Nobody else had that allegiance to him because, like you said, they didn't draft him. They didn't have the allegiance that even the Broncos, even though they wanted to move on, they're like, we owe him at least give him an opportunity to see what he can do. And if he falls flat on his face, oh, well, so be it.
And unfortunately for Tim Tebow, he became the biggest sideshow in sports because everywhere he went was just media mania. He became, I believe, through that period, the easiest, biggest target in sports. He's evangelical Christian. He wears his religion on not one sleeve, but on both sleeves. He's kneeling, he's praying, and a lot of people don't love that. So he became, in the end, almost a pariah for a lot of people in pro football, and just on his sheer aura, he was too much for a lot of teams to handle. They didn't want to bring him to camp because, God, it's Tebow, and it's going to be a media circus.
Well, and plus, Skip, if you're the quarterback, Skip, you can't be, for your foundation, signing autographs, taking pictures before the game, Skip. You know how, at that position. Now, if you want to do that after the game, have at it, but not before the game.
All right, so he was forced to go to plan B. And that we were back to the showcase out here in 2016. He's just saying to me after the showcase, I know it's a long shot, but it's my only shot that I got left because I love to compete. And I think I can compete in baseball. And he took a shot. It's a lot of bus rides to a lot of remote places. And he did it for what? 1 year got canceled by COVID, obviously, last year. But he did it for 4 years. Okay, he did achieve this. You got to give him this. 2018, AA. It's usually where the best prospects are.